Shota Imanaga has been a bright spot in a season that has had its share of disappointments. As a matter of fact, he's not just the Cubs' best pitcher, but he's the Cubs' best player. We're going to get into what Shota Imanaga meant to the Cubs this year and what went wrong. What happened to this Cubs team? We're going to talk a little bit about that right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Let's get this thing started with a big Go Cubs. What do you say, guys? Welcome to the Cubs Baseball channel. I'm Mick Gillespie. Thanks for hanging out with us here. And let's talk some Cubs. We're going to do this every day during the offseason. We have a lot to say, and we appreciate you. So thank you for being here, and let's talk a little bit of Cubs. Well, yesterday, the Cubs blanked the Nationals 5-0. These games are meaningless. 6 games left to go. Cubs were eliminated a couple of games ago. But with that said, there's still always something to talk about. I mean, another disappointing year. And I've said this before, it just reminds me of running back last season, this season. Like, it's the same exact season. And this makes, 4 straight years where the Cubs haven't made the playoffs, right? Not counting COVID. So what do, right? Where do you go? That's the questions that we're going to have to answer. The front office is going to answer, and we'll see what kind of moves, if any, are made to the front office moving forward. But there's definitely, I think, going to be something, because a big market team that doesn't make the playoffs spends that much money. The Cubs aren't cheap. I mean, even though some people feel like that, they still have one of the highest payrolls in baseball. The results just aren't there. And you guys have been in the comments section. A lot of people felt like they didn't fortify their bullpen enough. Maybe, some of the moves that they made, people aren't happy with. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. They didn't win enough to get into playoffs. That constitutes a failure. And that's why this team's going to have to figure it out, organization top down, how to get things done, right? Or go a totally different direction. But it's not like they're that far away, right? Although next year is an entirely different season, and you wonder, are you going to be able to take that jump that Craig Counsell was talking about from 80 to 90 wins, and then 90 wins get you into the postseason? So Cubs with the win, 4 games over 500. They've got 6 games left to go. This is almost identical to where they were last year. Was it David Ross's fault? You know what? Might not have been. And maybe he was the sacrificial lamb a year ago. And maybe looking back at it now, maybe he shouldn't have been. But I still like Craig Counsell. And I like what he had to say after the game about Shota Imanaga. He basically said he's our best pitcher and he's been our best player. And then when Ryan Herrera's stat popped up, I was like, whoa. Yeah, I mean, no wonder he says that. The Cubs 23-6. when Imanaga pitches, and 57-70 when he doesn't. And so the bottom line is, last year, the Cubs had a guy in Justin Steele who was this guy. He pitched, you won, and he gave you a chance. And then when he didn't pitch, it was a crapshoot, right? The disappointing thing about this season is that Justin Steele fought with injuries all year long. And we didn't get the same Justin Steele consistently that we got last year. But can you imagine the 1-2 punch had Steele followed suit from what he did a year ago, and then Imanaga did this? So the thing with Imanaga, who won 15 games now, 23-6 in games he pitches, is he going to be able to duplicate this next year? And in the major leagues, it's really tough to do that, right? Because pitching in the major leagues is very, very difficult. They're going to make adjustments to everything that you do. And so it's that makes it tough. I mean, look, it just does. So, is he going to be able to swing back and follow suit? I hope so. I mean, it would certainly be great, but 15-3 and a 2.91 ERA in his 29 starts. and he threw 173 innings. You wonder does he have one more go in him, or do the Cubs say, hey, you know what? You've done enough. Let's just go ahead and pack this thing in. That's up to them. But 6 games left would mean he'd have one more outing this year. So then the other question is, and I think we all kind of feel like it's a bad year for him because he's not going to be the rookie of the year. I think other years he'd have got it, or it would have been really close. He's really close, but the problem is he's got Paul Skeens and Jackson Merrill. Merrill, the star for the Padres, and then Skeens, the super pitching, phenom of the Pirates. And I think it's going to be those guys, A and B, for the National League Rookie of the Year. So Shota's not going to get Rookie of the Year, but I'll tell you what, he definitely deserves the mention in there. Just a bad year for a guy trying to win that award, just because there's so many other candidates in that. Now, going back to the question that we kind of started the show with, what are the expectations moving forward for this Cubs organization? That's going to be the focus of a lot of videos that I'm going to do moving forward. What's going to happen with Cody Bellinger? I mean, we saw Bob Nightingale says he's going to opt back in. I think if he opts back in, then the Cubs are going to probably, in my estimation, have to either get rid of some guys or make some trades, because there just isn't enough room for him if he's going to play, but maybe if you could move, what about moving Ian Happ out and then having him as your left fielder, right? I mean, is that a possibility? If it was me, I know Ian Happ has a no trade clause, but maybe you work out a deal where, he's willing to go somewhere. Who knows? I don't think that they're going to do anything in right field with Seiya Suzuki, except maybe move him to DH. You got Owen Casey waiting in the wings. And I've talked about this before, and we'll see how things kind of play out. But it just feels like there's a logjam right now that they pushed all these guys to AAA. They're all stuck there now in a pen, like a herding pen, and there's nowhere for him to go because of contracts. And then if he opts back in, that's just one less spot. Although he's a great player when he's doing his thing. So I don't know that it would be bad for the team's success rate. But the bottom line is that he doesn't think there's a market out there for him to get more money than the Cubs are giving him. And I think that's kind of a bad thing, just because maybe the Cubs are overpaying for this guy. There is some movement available in the bullpen and also in the rotation. There's some opportunities out there to make some moves, maybe to sign a free agent. Do the Cubs go after Corbin Burns? I could see that happening. I'm sure Craig Counsell is going to want to try to get some culture guys, not only great players, but culture guys. And if you guys remember, the Cubs won the World Series, and the whole thing started with John. I guess I want to give my boy John Lieber a shout out, John Lester, but it started with John Lester. Then they go get him. Remember, he was at the Sox, got traded to the A's. Cubs go out and sign him. And then from that point on, he just changed the culture. And I think that would be a good thing for the Cubs if they were able to go out and find someone like John Lester that not only would be an ace at the top of your staff, but would also bring the clubhouse a little bit of fire, a little bit of expectation, a little bit of winning. They've got guys that know how to win, but this team just never felt like this totally. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that when they were rolling at the beginning of the season, the bullpen was terrible. So maybe they go out and make some moves there as well. But 6 games left tonight. Phillies, 5:40 Central Time. Cubs play 3 there. Then they finish up against Cincinnati. So, we'll count it down. As of right now, when I'm doing this video, to be determined who the Cubs will start. So I'm interested in seeing this. Do you go someone in the minor leagues? Do you do bullpen? Do you have somebody that you had in mind? Maybe I'm just not seeing it right now. But they'll face off against Aaron Nola, 12-8 record, 3.54 ERA. One of the reasons why the Phillies are a favorite, or at least one of them, to win the World Series this year. They're dangerously good, and it's just going to be a pretty interesting series for the Cubs against our old buddy Kyle Schwarber. And see what happens. Bryce Harper, bunch of other really good players. Anyway, guys, get in the comment section. Tell me what you think. What do you want me to talk about too? What are topics of interest that you guys want me to bring to the show. Get in there and let me know. We'll do that. We're going to have an off season coming up here, which we'll continue to follow the team every day. It should be pretty interesting. There could be some fireworks at the end of this year. So just keep that in mind. And I know that there's not a lot of people reporting that, but just know that there could be some fireworks coming. All right. Like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. And appreciate you hanging out here on the Cubs Baseball channel. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Go Cubs.